A ton of you have reached out to us asking to react to your elite prospects. Now, we're gonna do so, but I wanna make it very clear. We are doing so without doing a ton of research on you. I am only looking at the stats on EP. We don't have the full story. We're most likely wrong on facts, haven't seen your gameplay. This is a very raw breakdown, so don't take it personally. If we actually wanna analyze a player, we'll go in depth and watch the video. Just keep in mind, we don't have the full story, and we'll most likely need to meet with you to understand it. All right, first up, we have a 2008 forward. Really rough. Last season, not a great year, 6-36, but that's fine, right? You're playing a high level hockey. Things happen. There could be things that we don't understand. This past year, 34-37 in the same team, same league. That is a huge upgrade. That shows that you knew you had a rough season. Something might have happened that we don't know. And you put in the work this offseason and had a great season. Now, I'm very curious to see where you're going to play this year. And to be honest, I'd most likely want to meet with you to have a better understanding of what's going on and see if we can help. But I love this improvement. It shows that you're dedicated and you're working hard. A 2007 goalie. Oh boy. The goalie played on 2 different teams, so I'm assuming it's a split level, which is fine. That happens. Had great numbers at both levels. Now the hard part is both these levels are not very strong. Unfortunately, they're not. I'm very curious to see how you would do it at a higher up stage. Now I would say probably jump to a tier 3 juniors and see how you do there before moving on to a tier 2 and maybe a tier 1. However, just looking at historical stats, you have really good numbers for the most part of your hockey career. Now it's just to see about playing in a higher level hockey and see if you're doing well because you're just dominating and it's time to play at a better level, or if it's because of where you're playing. But overall, this is impressive. I would challenge myself if I was you and see if you can play at the next level. Push yourself and see how you do there. And we can work from there. We have a 2008 goalie. Goalie is playing mid to low level, I would say. The stats last season were not great. Now, things to keep in mind is when you're looking at these numbers, you need to factor in, was it on him? Was it the team? How many shots did they get against them? What kind of shots were they? Were they grade A's, grade B's, or grade C's? How the league competition was compared to his team? There's a lot to look into, which obviously we haven't done at this point. The season before did really well. So I'm curious why, and played at a higher level. So I'm curious why he went from higher level to a lower level and back to a low level again this coming season. We got a 2010 goalie who's already 5'10". Impressive. Holy, okay. We got a 2010 goalie that last season, it looks like he tore up the league. 100% looks like he tore up the league. 15 games played, 950 and 15 wins. In playoffs was a 936. Now, obviously, these numbers are stellar. Unbelievable. A couple things we need to look at is how many shots was he getting per game? How good was his team? How good was the competition around him? Right? 7 shutouts in 15 games. That's exceptional. And the playoffs numbers, exceptional. But if you're getting 10 shots a game, I don't factor that in. You weren't tested. You weren't put on the spot to see if you can carry your team. So realistically, not drafted in the dub with those kind of numbers makes me question what's going on. 2009 forwards. 2 seasons ago, 27-32. Very well done. Moved up to a higher age group and a higher caliber hockey. 15-36 and 4-5 in the playoffs. Now, somebody might look at these numbers and go, oh, he was almost half a point a game. That's okay. It's nothing exceptional. But when you look at the caliber he was the year before compared to what he's playing this year, that's 2, if not 3 steps up, which is awesome. That is a huge step for a young man. To be able to put these numbers, I hope you're proud of yourself. I hope you're happy with it. Your confidence should be at a good level right now. I'd be very curious to see where you're playing this year, and I would like to have a discussion with you just to see where your goals are, where you're at, because this is interesting to me. You see, there's more to it than just the numbers. We need to understand the full picture and get a better idea of what's going on. But overall, this is something that I'm interested in. Again, we look at more than just numbers. And I also don't have all the information of the video or anything. 2008 forward. Ooh, you're playing in Europe. All right. Playing in Swiss. Swiss has a very good hockey league for junior hockey, for development. That is a good spot to play if you're over in Europe. 14-22 in the Swiss U17 top and 7-9 in the U20A. These are both very good leagues. The points are there. It's a great job. The year before you were 21-20. So I'd be very curious to see where you play this year, especially as an 08. So are you staying in Europe or are you trying to come to North America? Because I'd like to see if these numbers can translate in North America. Swiss is a great league, is a great spot to play junior hockey, great spot to play pro hockey. And if you can develop up the ranks and play pro in Swiss, stay and keep playing. If you're already on track to do so, stay, don't come over. It's a great spot to play. 2010 forward, oh my lordy lord. Last year, played 110 games. That's a lot of hockey. If this is correct, that's a lot of hockey. 71-45 in the first league, because most teams play in 2 leagues nowadays, and 92-65. And then 23-13 in the playoffs. This is 2 years ago, sorry. Last year, your stats are not up. Okay, that was 2 years ago. Last year's stats are not up, so we would need to do some digging. Your league never puts up stats. They truly don't help their players. I don't know why. But if those numbers are accurate, that's incredible. I'm very curious to see what the caliber is you played, because that's interesting. At every event you've been to, you've put up stunning numbers. Stunning. Definitely something super impressive. Now, obviously, I need to know the full story. I need more context on this, because this is incredible. But reach out to us. Let's have a conversation. I definitely need to know more about your playing style, where you're playing, what the plan, and especially where you're playing this year. Now, are you going to be playing in your age group, or are you going to play 2, maybe even 3 years up? 2009 forward, playing in the CSSHL last year, 20-35. And the year before was 37-24. So, absolutely great numbers. And I can see by the year before that you jumped an age group. You didn't stick with your age group, which is awesome. It means that you were ready to play with the higher up group. The numbers you did with the higher up group are very good. Yes, they're not as good as when you played at your age group, but that's fine because you did this with an older group. You put in the work, you worked hard, you were a competitive and very strong young player for your team, which is awesome. Now this year, are you going back to this team? Are you going juniors? What's the plan? I'd be curious to see that. Drafted in the WHL, so that shows that you were scouted early on for what you can do. And definitely somebody we're going to follow this year. I'd be very curious to watch some video on you and see you play this year. 09 D-Man, playing in Sweden. The Swedish Junior League, another good league in Europe. As a defenseman last season, you put up some serious numbers, 21-16 in both different divisions. Very curious to see if that translates to the higher age group this coming year. But putting those kind of numbers as a defenseman is impressive. So that makes me wonder, are you staying in Sweden and working your way up the ranks, or are you trying to come to North America? Something we'd be curious to watch, and we'll probably keep you on our watch list. This was impressive. We're reacting to elite prospects without knowing the full story. I haven't watched video on all these players, and on some of them I definitely want to, and I'm definitely going to be tracking them now this year. We can go into much more depth and looking game by game, break down the video, talking to the coaches, talking to the family, seeing the goals, seeing what happened last year, and understand the full story, which would probably change most of what I just said. But just looking at the facts, looking at the stats, which some coaches, that's how they recruit. This is some of the info we're giving you. If you want us to take a look and give you these kind of reactions, submit your elite prospect to us, and we could break it down for you. You might want some of our more informational videos. Either click this one or this one, and we'll see you in the next one.